Well, hello, hello. Welcome into this week's live training on how to set your goals as an online course creator that you'll actually achieve. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Shannon Martell, and I am your host in today's training. And this is also for you if you are a member of the Ultimate Course Creators Hub over on Skool. So each week we come to you live with a masterclass of sorts to do a free live training for you, as well as answer all of your questions that you have on anything that you're working on in regards to creating, launching, or selling your online course or coaching program. So if you're just joining, a big hello to you. Please let me know if you can hear me okay and if you can see me okay. And while you're doing that, I will go ahead and check over on YouTube on my phone just to make sure as well. That sounds good, that is all working, and I will get the comments up as well to make sure we hear everything. Where's my comments at? All right, let me get that. So if you're just joining, let me know where you're joining from and drop the time where it is where you're joining from. I'd love to know. I always love to know where everybody lives in the world and where you're tuning in from and what time it is. So that would be great. And let me just get the comments up on the video here so I can see them as well. All right, I got it. Okay, so we are like now in a new month, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to help you with your goal setting for Q3. So if depending on when you're watching this video, this is for Q3 of 2025. So we are going to be talking about how to set goals as an online course creator that you're going to actually be able to achieve. So setting goals for you as an online course creator can mean the difference between, almost getting there and actually having genuine success in your online course or coaching business. So I've created a guide here for you, and I will link it in the comments below that you can go ahead and access this guide and print it out for yourself and go through it at your own time to be able to implement a strategy for you that actually works and creates a plan for you that creates these goals that you're going to be able to actually achieve. And this is like designed and inspired for course creators and specifically addresses the unique challenges that you go through as educational entrepreneurs, as the teachers and hosts of online courses and communities and coaching programs, etc. And from understanding the psychology that is behind effective goal setting and helping you to be able to create effective daily habits that are going to support you and support your vision and actually help you to develop actionable strategies to be able to transform that course creation journey into not just aspiration of wanting to do it, right, but to actual achievement. And I opened a Skool community about a month ago after hosting one of my 1 hour to course clarity monthly workshops. And I opened up a pop-up group inside the community. So welcome in if you are one of our new members. We have members joining every single day, which is absolutely fabulous. And you are all on various points and stages in your journey as online course creators. Some of you are just kind of playing with an idea and would like to create an online course. There's others that are in that course creation process, but maybe feeling stuck and not sure like what the next steps are. Others of my members have developed an online course, but want to kind of perfect it and improve it before launching it and so forth. So you're all in various stages of the journey, which is absolutely beautiful. But with every great plan, or every great goal, rather, you need to make sure that you have a plan and a strategy in place to help you to be able to achieve those goals, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Again, if you're just joining us, go ahead, say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you could please go ahead. And I see we have one member. Oh, hey, Tony, how are you doing? So Tony is joining us from East, if I'm going to say this right, Kilbride. Am I saying that right? Scotland, and it is 8 p.m. So thank you so much for joining us and letting us know that. That's like incredible to connect with people all over the world. I just love social media and technology to be able to do that. So I know Tony is another business coach, and he is developing his own unique methodology for helping his students to be able to create, launch, and scale online courses and coaching programs too, I believe, right, Tony? So wherever you are, and that's the beauty of online course creation, is that there is like no idea that's too small, or, there's so many online courses and coaching programs and that people create in various niches. So, if you have an idea and there's a market for that particular idea, there are so many things that you can do with your unique signature system, from creating a full product suite and not only having like entry level offers. So your entry level offers, we're kind of talking about like anything free to low ticket offers. And this encourages your members to get a taste of what it is to be working with you, purchase for the first time. And once someone has purchased you for the first time and experience your teaching, your methodologies, and so forth, they're more likely to purchase again with you through the customer buying journey. And so with that said, the beautiful thing about creating a signature system, and this is what I teach in my signature course launch system, is how to take that signature system and then how to package that into multiple products and services that meet your client wherever they are through the customer journey cycle. So again, whether they're just becoming aware of you and they're in that awareness stage and interest stage and purchasing for the first time, all the way to moving them from like a low ticket container to a mid ticket container to a high ticket container, in even your highest containers, which are like one-on-one packages where you're working with them and, in more exclusive time frame. And also your masterminds, virtual retreats, in-person retreats, and so forth are going to be like on the higher level of the spectrum of the products and services that are in your product suite. So Tony says, yes, your Skool group is amazing, full of amazing advice and how to move from idea to researching it and practical steps on how to get it launched. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that feedback. So yes, if this is you and you're at any of these stages in the online course creation process, this is what the hub is for, designed to be. We're still building it out. We'll be building it out based on your needs over time. But we do have free and paid courses in there to meet you where you're at in your journey. So starting with our 1 hour to course clarity, which is kind of like your introduction to online course creation to help you to be able to come up with your profitable course idea, how to get that course idea validated, how to turn that into a online course curriculum, and kind of determining what's going to be in your overall course packaging and pricing, and then how to pre-sell your online course. And I give you tools and templates and templates to be able to pre-sell those. So copy templates, so email templates to be able to pre-sell your online course and enroll students in that before even getting started, before you even create a module or anything. So you get paid to create, which is a beautiful thing to be able to do. So as we're going along through this training, any questions that you have, feel free to put those in the comments below, and I'll be watching those and kind of pausing to go over your questions in more detail as we're going through the presentation. Inside the hub, we have not only your content, so again, kind of the online courses and coaching programs that I've mentioned, but we also have other ways for you to be able to get support. So we have a 7-day WhatsApp support. This is where every day you can have me basically in your back pocket. You get access to connect with me on WhatsApp. And this is where for 7 days for my members, for just $1 a day, you will be able to, I'll reach out to you every day and ask you where you're at in your journey, what you're working on, and what questions you have and need feedback on, anything you need me to look at, give feedback to, that kind of thing. So that is available to my members. Also, you have a 60-minute personalized roadmap session. And this is where, for my members, I give a discounted price of $97. It's typically $297. And this is where we get on a call and we actually map out your online course and your full strategy to like what's in your course, how to price it, how to package it, how to market it, how to sell it, all of those things. So we do that and create your full strategy of how to create, launch, and sell your online course specific for you as your personalized roadmap session. And then we also have a 30-day package to be able to, if you want to do that, then you have the initial onboarding call, a midpoint progress check. And then we also have a debrief check to see like what you've been working on, what your next steps are to continue to be able to market and sell your online courses. So those are available for my members, as well as we also have weekly live Q&A, these training sessions, kind of a mini training, and the Q&A. And we have personalized video support. So there's something in more detail that you need to work through, or you want my feedback on, want me to look at, then you can submit fill out a document, basically answering a few questions for me, provide links to me to be able to look at your like your course curriculum or whatever it is you're working on. And then I can give you personalized video feedback that is specific to you and your situation. So that is also available in the hub. Currently, we are still a free community. We may look at changing this later. Skool is going through a lot of different changes with how they are rolling out different features in the community. So I'm still kind of like playing around to see what the best model is going to be to support all of my free and paid members going forward. But for now, it is free. So jump in if this is you. Would love to have you, love to support you. And if you're ready to go deeper, then I have the courses and coaching programs available for you to do that as well. But you also get the benefit of the community. And there's nothing more beneficial, I think, than to have a group of like-minded, ambitious peers inside a group that are on the same path as you, that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can connect with, that you can have fun with, that also you can collaborate with. There's like so many opportunities for you to be able to meet, joint venture partners and collaborate with different people, as well as practice. So this is an opportunity too that I have for my clients, is that you can actually promote your offers inside my community under a dedicated thread once a week for my clients, and share your offers and become beta students of one another. So that's a great way to be able to kind of test your methodology and help, ensure that your methodology is sound and it's helping your clients to be able to get results, as well as to get feedback from those beta clients and to give you testimonials as well. So that helps to then position you of having that social proof, which is going to make your offer even stronger when you're creating your marketing and your sales pages and so forth. So that is also available as well for my members inside of Course Creators Academy, is to be able to do that. So that is something definitely you would want to take advantage of, so you can get so you can really test out your methodology and make sure that your programs and services are really in creating the results for your students that you desire them to be able to achieve. So any questions that you have on any of that right now? I'll just kind of check the chat. Let me know if you have any questions as we're moving forward, and we will dive into kind of goal setting again, because this is something that's really important and that we spend time on each and every single month inside the Academy, because you need to make sure, it's kind of like you need to have that North Star decision, and not only a North Star decision on the product that you are developing, launching, and selling, but also what your goals are for that particular quarter or particular month. So you know what you're shooting for, right? So not only how much is your course or coaching program going to be priced at, but how many spots that you need to sell. And from that as well, identifying and determining how many leads that you need to be able to market to. So kind of looking at the formats and where you're also launching and marketing your offer, whether it's email marketing or social media marketing, content marketing. There's various different ways, also paid marketing strategies as far as like doing meta ads, those types of things. So you need to know, based on what your revenue goals are, how to reverse engineer that to determine how many leads that you need to be able to get your offer in front of, and then what those conversion metrics are to know how much you're going to convert that audience to. For instance, looking at a warm email list, KPI key performance indicator for converting can be 2 to 3%. Or if you're doing workshop events tend to have up to 30% conversion rate. So kind of looking at, what marketing channels that you're going to be on, what marketing tactics you're going to be deploying in your business every month to be able to generate those leads, to be able to nurture those leads, and then to be able to convert those leads. It all starts with identifying what your goals are. So let me know, do you already have a goal for Q3 and or July of 2025? If you do, go ahead and comment that below and let me witness that with you and celebrate that with you and help you to map out a plan to be able to get there. All right, let's get to our next slide here. Maybe. Oh, there we go. So let's understand it. Let me make sure I didn't skip. Yeah, okay. I'm using a different tool to be able to do the sharing of the presentation, so I wasn't sure what buttons to push there. So understanding why most course creators fail to reach their goals, and kind of a little bit that we've already mentioned here, but knowing that like the online landscape is really littered with tons of abandoned courses, unfulfilled launch plans, and creators who never really quite meet their potential. The issue isn't due to a lack of passion or expertise. Like you've got the passion, you've got the desire to be able to do this, you have your expertise, your skills, your ability to be able to do this. But most course creators are deeply knowledgeable and genuinely eager to share their wisdom, but the breakdown happens elsewhere. And this is the reasons, like top reasons that they fail. Number one here I have for you is unrealistic expectations. And this really happens in the marketplace with, constantly seeing in the social media feeds that, let's 10K in 30 days, or, I went 0 to 30K in 90 days or 30 days or whatever the time frame is. And, or start from scratch, I had zero audience and was able to, Tony says his goal for July is to launch, did that come up? To launch 12-week course for my new ICP by the end of Q3. My goal is to have my own membership set up and launched. That is a beautiful goal and absolutely doable. Absolutely doable. I created the Ultimate Course Creators Hub, and still building it out, obviously, with adding additional products and services. But I had that built out. It's now 4 weeks old, or just over 4 weeks old, and had built it out. And I would say, depending on where you are building it out on, will obviously depend on the time frame, as far as the setup is concerned. Like I also have a lot of courses and programs built up on MemberPress through the or WordPress through the MemberPress plugin for the courses, and that is a lot heavier tech setup than Skool. So I don't know. Did you say you're going to a Skool? I'm not sure if you're going on Skool or not, Tony, but I would definitely recommend doing the Skool route if you haven't already built out your real estate somewhere else, because it's just seamless. And they just launched another feature where you can actually record right inside of, or host all of your videos right inside the Skool app now. So kind of what we do now is record. For instance, I'm recording live on StreamYard and I'm streaming to YouTube, and then I take the link from YouTube and then I embed it into the Skool community, and that's how you get to it through Skool. Or there's other ways if you're doing it through like a Loom video and hosting it elsewhere and then uploading it and so forth. All of this now with the new feature they just released, I think yesterday, is it yesterday? Sam Owens did the video training where they are now like you can stream right from your phone and upload right directly into the Skool app now. So that is a beautiful thing to be able to do. I will likely still use StreamYard because I love being able to share my screen and go through the presentations and so forth. But still, I won't need to host on YouTube, like on an unlisted channel on YouTube anymore. I will be able to upload directly into Skool. So there's benefits to doing both. Obviously, if you're growing a YouTube channel as one of your marketing platforms, you may want to keep those courses on or those trainings on YouTube as well. So it just kind of depends on what you're doing, but they will also have the ability to have your videos transcribed too. Sam did say that feature's already there. There's a couple of other things I have to kind of work out to be able to get that service to us. So that is a great thing to come. But anyway, looking at that, knowing that, yeah, still deciding between Skool and your all-in-one platform, Go High Level. I've heard a lot of really good things about Go High Level too. I have not personally used it. So some things, obviously looking at pricing, if you're looking to build a community, I believe Go High Level has a community feature as well. Those would be some things I would consider. Also, like if you're marketing as well, your community, those would be some other things I would look at is, are you able to, obviously you can do organic marketing, but are you able to do any paid like meta ads directly to your communities on Go High Level? So that is something that I find, especially as a solo entrepreneur. I do have one team member that I outsource things to as a contractor, but I don't have any like direct employees working for me. So I do everything in my business myself. So for me, utilizing paid marketing is essential for me in my business because I have funnels and ads working for me 24/7. They are the employees basically to be able to generate leads and nurture my leads all the way through conversion because of the marketing that I have set up and the automations that I have set up. So having Skool, with having that said, there are ways to be able to market directly to your Skool communities through Facebook ads and using conversion API trackers in there as well. So those are some things, I would definitely be considering when you're looking at that, as well as in Skool communities. You can also be able to email your members directly every 3 days. So say you're creating a post inside Skool, there's a button you can toggle on to be able to email the members inside your community as well. And you have, this will be, you can tell I love Skool. I'll probably have to do another training about Skool, create a course about Skool because I'm loving it so much. But there's different ways you can set up a freemium model where the Skool community is free to your members, and then have your paid features in there, your paid courses and services that you're offering your clients or your members inside there. And the beauty of that as well is that you're not only using the group as a place to be able to generate leads to and nurture those leads, but you also have the opportunity for your free members to connect with your paid members. And the free members also see what you're working on with your paid members. And eventually that helps to give them, not only the social proof, but learn how to really build that know, like, trust factor with those leads and help kind of push them over the edge, because they kind of feel like, they're in the group, but they're not in the group, and they want to be able to get the results that your students are getting. So with Skool right now, all of that, you can do a free 14-day trial, and then it's $97, $99. I think it's $97 a month thereafter. But there's different things you can do in the business too. And this is why it's so important to set your goals to begin with. But there's different things you can set up in your business, from different offerings and low ticket offerings, to help to not only offset your audience growth, but to also offset your software expenses, for having the course hosting platform and so forth. So I don't know what Go High Level's pricing is, but that's kind of the high, bird's eye view of what you could expect with the Skool community. As well as with Skool too, I know there's well over 100,000, members that are in, and if not more, that's the last statistic I had heard, but members that are, like on the Skool platform themselves. And so you automatically have an audience of people that are seeking online courses and coaching that are already in the Skool platform and have their own user profile set up. So, anytime they're searching for online courses and coaching programs, on the discovery page of a Skool, you have the SEO is being able to put your community in front of those. So that's free marketing. So you can kind of look at that as well, with, that organic marketing. That is obviously a niche for people that are looking for support in the health, wealth, relationships, and hobbies kind of categories. They're already in the Skool platform, and then Skool is doing their own marketing to continue to drive leads to Skool. So a lot there with that. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. If you want to hop on a call and chat specifically about that too, I'd be happy to help you with that. So going back to what are your expectations? I always kind of like to, really look at setting SMART goals and making sure that they're specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're realistic, and they're time bound, and then breaking those down. So knowing, what it is that you're offering. So knowing those products that are in your product suite is really where you want to start. And then, from there, really coming up with what are your revenue goals. And, when you're kind of thinking about your overall revenue goals, I think it's also important to factor in not just the products that you're selling and the services that you're selling, but what are your goals from a personal perspective. Are you looking to leave a 9-to-5? Are you looking to replace a portion of your 9-to-5 income? Are you looking to go full time in your business? And if you are, that's absolutely realistic to be able to do that. Just give yourself enough time to be able to do that. And if you need to cross finance the growth of your business with the income from your job, absolutely do that, and do that until you feel comfortable enough and have enough revenue coming in that you know that your outgoings are taken care of. So knowing that, your monthly mortgage and, your major expenses, whether kind of looking at the big picture, kind of looking at your monthly mortgage or rent and auto insurances, things like that, kind of making sure like that, when you're looking at revenue goals, I would look at that number, to kind of see what that is. And then also factoring in what money you want to set aside for building your business. So kind of looking at what you would need from a tech and software solutions, as for instance, if you're going with Skool, or if you're going to be running paid marketing, you can start marketing your business. I recommend at a very minimum, looking to do some Facebook ads or Meta ads. You can create a free lead magnet and run ads for as little as $5 a day, $10 a day to start generating leads to building your email list or directly to your Skool community if you're going to do it that way. And if you do it directly to your Skool community, not only are you getting your members into Skool, but you're also building your email list on the back end. So, and then through, your email marketing as well, you can build your other platforms that you're going to be marketing on. So those are kind of some high level things to look at when you're kind of thinking about what your overall revenue goals are. Again, your personal expenses, your business expenses to be able to get started, and then looking at those specific courses, coaching programs, et cetera, that you're going to be marketing, and then how much are those? And then for, say you have a program for $1,000 and your goal is to make $10,000 for, the month of July, perhaps, you're going to need to sell at least 10 spots for that, for example. So looking at that, kind of knowing what your realistic expectations are, anticipating reaching thousands of students and generating six-figure revenues within months without, accounting for typical growth and trajectory of successful online courses. Because as you're going through, it is a process. I've been doing this since 2019, and I've definitely learned a lot of things. I've definitely had a lot of failed launches, successful launches, et cetera. but you always want to be like testing different marketing angles, testing different entry point offers and so forth to see what works and what's converting. And kind of like if you're looking at from a lead magnet perspective, and the way you can kind of even budget that is a good lead magnet in our niche, in the business niche, if you can get a lead for like $1.50 a lead through marketing, like a planner or a checklist or something like that, that's kind of the benchmark of what you can expect. So if you're budgeting $5 a month or a day in ad spend, kind of dividing that by your $1.50 is going to tell you how many leads you're going to be able to anticipate generating on, a monthly basis. And then kind of looking at that again, if you're nurturing through email, then that amount of leads, you have a 2 to 3% average conversion rate through your email marketing. So you can see through all of that why goal setting is so important, and why really mapping out not only your product suite, but what your conversion mechanisms are going to be if you're going to do like a monthly workshop, those types of things, so that you can really ramp up your marketing efforts and generate more leads into a particular event. Say you generate 1,000 leads into your marketing event, and then have a higher chance of converting 20 to 30% of those leads. So you always want to have, some kind of lead generation system set up in your business, looking at, how are you going to market that? Are you going to market it through organic marketing efforts, whether it be your Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, TikTok, or is it even called TikTok? I think it's still called TikTok. How you're going to be doing that. So how are you going to be attracting leads? Are you going to do it organically? Are you going to do it paid? Or are you going to do a combination of those? So starting with a plan is really, really important. And having, where we're saying lack of specific metrics here, vague goals like launch a successful course or help a lot of students really lacks the specificity needed for effective planning and measurement. So without concrete metrics, it's really impossible to track the progress or how to know when you've succeeded. So, and I know that can feel scary to a lot of newer course creators, like, excited to put down a number, but scary, scared to put down a number. So sometimes it even helps to kind of look at like what would be an ideal amount of students that you would like to work with. So whether, how you feel about the, financial part of it, as far as the money you want to generate, how many students do you feel like you have the capacity to be able to work with in a given container for a given period of time? That can be helpful to look at it that way as well. And you also want to make sure when you are thinking about what that revenue number is, again, starting with that North Star, what's the ultimate revenue goal, and then reverse engineering, what we're offering, how often we're launching, all of those different things. We also want to make sure we're factoring in taxes. So that's another thing too. Like if your goal is say 10K, you hear this a lot, but 10K in 30 days, well, is 10K really the right number for you? Because if you're factoring in, say 30% for taxes, depending on where you live, I'm not a tax advisor, so consult your tax advisor for that, but making sure you're factoring in, for instance, if you're taking 30% right off the top of that, and then you're also extracting all your business expenses, is that number really realistic to be able to pay your personal expenses and pay yourself and your business? So that is important to know, yes or no. Everybody's at a different stage, as well as, kind of thinking about that. Like if you're newer, or it doesn't even have to be new to, but your audience is going to grow each month as long as you continue to do revenue generating activities every day to generate new leads in your business. Your audience is going to grow. So if you're starting with zero audience, or you're starting with a low amount of people in the audience that you're growing and marketing to, each month you're going to have more people in your audience, so you're going to have more people to sell to. So staggering your growth goals, your revenue goals each month. So for instance, if month 1 your revenue goal is 10,000, month 2 your revenue goal is 12,500, month 3, your revenue goal is 15,000. That is a really great way to be able to do that and staggering that number to increase over time, because you're going to have more people in your audience, as well as you're going to have more clients that you will have been helping over that time, more social proof, and et cetera, more experience, all of that, to be able to convert more people and have more people to sell to in your audience. So knowing those numbers, having realistic expectations, knowing what your metrics are, which are, everything from the revenue goal to the amount of leads that you need to bring into your business, and understanding the time requirements to be able to create a quality course requires more time than most people anticipate. So, I mean, when you're going through online course creation and allowing yourself to be able to do that realistically, I think you can, for sure, depending on how long your course is, be able to create an online course in 30 days. And this is talking about from creating, and validating your course idea, to creating your course curriculum, your learning objectives, to creating what you're going to include, what's in the packaging of your online course. So what deliverables are you going to have? Are you going to have a community? Are you going to have live coaching and consulting? Are you going to have any personalized, feedback sessions? Are you going to have workshops? Are you going to have like worksheets, templates, resources for your students? So really mapping all of that out and creating that. And in the academy as well, I teach you how to use various AI tools to be able to help you work a lot faster and to create customized. In fact, this presentation here that I'm using, I created in Gamma AI, which is a fantastic thing to be able to make, not only from your presentations, but to be able to make like your slide decks, but to make beautiful documents. So like your Google Docs and so forth does it for you. So once you have all of your curriculum built out, and you can use like ChatGPT to help you with this as well. And like, you don't have to start from scratch is what I'm saying, all the way from ideation to helping you build out your course curriculum, to creating your course itself, and then creating everything that goes along with it, like your course book or cheat sheet, action guides, things like that you're going to be providing to your students. So that can help you do it a lot faster and, more professionally designed for you, as well as if you wanted to outsource that, that's available to you as well, to be able to outsource that like on the marketplace or something like that, to help you to get things created. And in the academy, I give you lots of tools and templates, is, Canva templates, slide deck templates, sales page templates, all of those types of things as well. So you're never starting from scratch. You have a lot of things that you can just plug and play and put back into your business. So make sure, kind of summarizing here, make sure you have realistic expectations for what it's really going to take. And we didn't, to even go back to this time part, it's not only that, but it's, setting up your platform, making sure, choosing your platform, choosing your software package that you have. I have a tool, I think if I haven't dropped it in the hub, I'll drop it in the hub as well, that helps you. It's a tech stack, and it helps you kind of look at all of the various pieces of tech that I require or recommend for you for your business, and then help you it has like a decision tree to be able to help you choose your tech stack to be able to create one, like I would say StreamYard for sure. You've got your payment provider, which is Stripe. You've got the ability to record, which would be like StreamYard. And now if you're using Skool, you can host on Skool, or you can host everything as an unlisted YouTube video, and then upload or embed the link into your learning management system where you're hosting your course. Or you can also look at using Facebook groups too, or Google Documents. There are no cost ways to be able to deliver your course as well. It just kind of depends on, I would say, depending on the course that you're creating, how long it is, and what that user experience is going to be for your students is kind of what you're wanting to look at with where you're going to host it and where you're going to host it for the long term. So having that, and then also when you go into the production mode of filming your course, so having that time, I like to block off like a good week So once I've created all my I've created the course, the curriculum, the slides, all of the resources, as well as I create the sales page first too, Tony. That way, everything you build from your sales page first throughout is one cohesive, beautifully branded online course. So all of the colors and the fonts and the elements and the visual elements that you're using in your sales page, then you can carry all the way out through your online course, through your marketing and so forth. So it's all one beautiful package. It's it looks professional and polished. So doing that, but once you do that, then kind of blocking out like a week to go through and record everything. So batch recording, and then I do batch editing and uploading to the curriculum. Oh, good. You're working on your sales page now. Perfect. So if that's something you want us to take a look at, get feedback from me, feedback from the community, feel free to bring that to us as well. So starting with your sales page first is wonderful, because it makes sometimes a lot of people will do the sales page last, and then it's disjointed. So it's really good to have it like done first, so exactly what your marketing angles are, what your marketing message is, who you're selling it to, who it's for, what's included. And then based on that, you've already done the hard work of determining up front what you're including in your minimal viable product for your online course, and then you build it out from there. So kind of starting in, going in and selecting your colors and your fonts and your elements, all of that, and then you can carry it through to your slides and so forth. So it's one polished professional brand all the way through. And then the other problem, and why a lot of course creators fail to reach their goals, is insufficient market research. So many creators build courses based on what they want rather than what their target audience actually needs and is willing to pay for, leading to misalignment between the goals and market realities. So it's really important that you choose and test different mechanisms to be able to validate your offer with your client. And I know, or with your audience. And I know we've worked on your curriculum itself, sometimes not realizing really dialing in and making sure our messaging is clear and it resonates with our audience, because it can be clear to us. And we tend to have our own lingo as we're, talking. I know that was one thing. I was in the banking industry for almost 25 years, 23 plus, 24, I forget now, years. And we definitely had our own language of how we referred to things. And it's easy to speak that way to your clients. Same thing with this industry. It's easy to speak that way with your clients, but it doesn't land because they're not sure what we're talking about, So being able to really get in front of your audience, have conversations, the best way to do this market research, the number one way, is to actually talk to your audience. So if you can get on a Zoom call or phone call, whatever that looks like, and have a conversation, asking somebody, that you think would be a good candidate for your course, if you could have 15 or 20 minutes of their time and have a conversation and just have them walk you through, what their desires are, what is keeping them from being able to reach those goals that they have. So it's like, what's their current situation? What's their desired situation? What have they tried? What worked? What didn't work, et cetera? What would they like to see in an online course or coaching program? That is worth its weight in gold to be able to get this feedback. And then, doing a good handful of these interviews, you can also provide a free coaching session or a free tangible deliverable back to the audience as a thank you for their time and being able to do this. So that is a really great way. Or even a discount. If they're a potential client, you could offer them a discounted spot on your online course, so they could make a good beta client for you. But getting this market research, really validating your offer, knowing that if you've gotten a couple of people to validate that offer, typically that means they're speaking for the majority of people that are like them, that want that offer. Also doing surveys and polls, using the community on Skool, our community, to be able to survey the audience, to ask good questions. That is great feedback from your audience as well. You can do email surveys. So if you have an email list, you can survey your audience there. The best way I found to do that is to create a Google survey form with the questions that I have for my audience, and then emailing that, again, offering some kind of giveaway as a way of thanking your audience for giving you this valuable feedback. So that is one way to really validate from your ideal client's perspective, but also doing market research and looking at your competitors to see what offers they're offering, and making sure that, sorry, let me just check comments. If you're seeing similar offers for the same audience in the marketplace, that is a really strong indicator that they've already done the research, especially if they have, people that have, already voted with their dollars by investing in the online course or coaching program. It's a validated offer, and that's something that you can move forward with. So through that, we have a whole section of this in the academy too, where we go through this market research and really how to look at your competitors and how to basically look at the offers and identify what you like about the offers, what you don't like about the offers. If you can find the feedback from their market and what their audience likes and doesn't like about the offers, and then identify what you would do differently, how you would improve it, what you wouldn't include. Those things are going to really help you create your unique selling proposition as well for your online course, and know exactly what to put in it. So that, and I would say that rings true for really any kind of marketing you're doing. You can kind of do that same, process of going in and identifying, what you like, what you don't like, what you would change, and what you would do differently in any offers, whether you're doing social media marketing on Instagram, to looking at competitors in the, YouTube marketing, to determining what YouTube videos to create and so forth. And, looking at the comments of the end user that is going through that. So really going through that to help you understand, how to start mapping out your goals. Let me know if this is making sense so far to you, or if you have any other questions. Some water. All right, so here I wanted to touch a bit on, and we're not going to go through this whole training. It's a 20-page training, but I just wanted to kind of get you started on this. And this is something you would like some more help with, and we can definitely have some conversations and more trainings inside the Course Creators Hub about it. But I would definitely go through this exercise, and I will drop the link to this where you can grab it in the hub as well. So the psychology behind effective goal setting for digital entrepreneurs is, the human brain. And Tony says, as you mentioned in the hub, these were brilliant for finding research about my course, Feedly, Quora, Reddit. Yes, so because you are for those of you that aren't familiar with the Skool platform, Skool is really gamified online learning, which is beautiful. So the more our members engage in the communities by providing feedback, creating posts, doing work, those types of things, you are assigned points essentially. And those points then can be converted for different prizes and unlocks. The more you level up, the more you unlock. And, I'm building this with you. So you'll watch a poll coming soon where I'm going to ask you guys what you would like to see at the various levels. But level 2 is a snippet that came directly from the Ultimate Course Creators Academy, or Course Creators Academy, that walks you through really how to pick a profitable course topic. And it walks you through a huge section on doing this market research and using tools and platforms like Feedly, Quora, Reddit to be able to really go through and kind of get in front of your ideal client, and not only, understanding their pain points and their problems and their goals, but understanding the language that they use to be able to talk about this, because that is how we learn to, one, speak the way our clients speak, and to be on that fly on the wall where they're like, oh, how'd you know that? Like, are you in my head? How did you know that? That's how we know that. And as well as now with tools like Claude AI and Perplexity, and I haven't tried it, but I think the deep research mode on ChatGPT now could likely do this as well, but you can I have a prompt for you that you can put into any of one of those AI tools, and it'll essentially it'll go in and do that market research and scrape that data for you out of those platforms and provide you, here's what your clients are saying, or here's what your ideal client is saying about XYZ topic. And it extracts it for you. So it saves you hundreds of hours of time in research and helps you. I have prompts as well that helps you categorize that, all of that, and then how to take that and turn it into marketing gold for your messaging and for your online courses and coaching programs. So really, really good. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's one thing, again, like I said, we have our own language on how we talk about things, but especially when you're marketing and you're marketing to a cold audience, you don't want it to go over your market's head and not even connect with them, because we didn't phrase something in the way our audience would understand it. So psychology really, our brain responds to goals in fascinating ways that can either propel you forward or hold you back. An example I already gave you is like some people, are held back by the fear of money and the fear of like thinking, oh, can I really, especially if you've never had a 10K month, the thought of being able to generate 10K in 30 days can feel unsafe to the psyche, basically. So sometimes it can feel safer to think about that in terms or perspective of people, as well as the same can be true for, and this is where a lot of pricing comes into play too, and the importance of pricing, that if you're going to say on the low end, if you were going to price a program at $100 and you wanted to sell 100 spots to generate that 10K, do you feel safe in your body, in your mind, body, soul, spirit, to be able to effectively hold space to train, coach, and lead 100 people, right? So if you've never done that before and you really think about, being in front of, I used to do a lot of training in corporate, from, small sessions in our branches to every month I led a regional meeting. So I had a group of 52 offices of all of their, managers, telecoordinators, whatever group it was that I was training, that came to an offsite location, and I hosted training sessions all day long. So I, very much know what it's like to meet with people in a small group setting, and very much what it's like to meet with people, in a larger group, to also having, annual retreats and so forth, where all of our 100 plus banking centers, the management team and so forth, would meet in a large facility. And, I would be part of the facilitation was my job. So depending on what your own experience is also going to play a big factor in this. And, so having these goals and being really specific about what you're going after, as well as I believe in exposure therapy, and really starting to expose yourself to this is really, really important. So you can start to build up your tolerance level and become more and more comfortable with being on camera and helping people in various settings and so forth, to know that, your mind doesn't sabotage you, because you can feel safe in doing this. So, research consistently shows that this intrinsic motivation driven by personal satisfaction, as well as having a meaningful purpose, leads to more sustainable progress than purely these eccentric rewards, like just being driven by money. So we know, like, there's some people that are solely driven by money, some people that are solely, they're more driven by impact. The money is just a byproduct type of thing. So that's good to know about yourself, about your students. While revenue goals matter, successful course creators typically connect their financial targets to deeper purposes. So this kind of goes back into understanding your why, or helping your clients to understand their why. Why is it worth it? Why, put yourself through, this test, basically this experiment, to be able to achieve these goals. Some things include like making a measurable impact on their students' lives. So really helping people to transform their lives through the problem that they solve. That really is a big motivator, to be able to help people, to creating legacy content that represents their expertise. So thinking not only, are they creating something for today, but thinking about, this body of work lives on for future generations to come. And to think about like my grandkids, or their kids to be able to, watch a YouTube video from Nana, someday, and to have that wisdom passed on for future generations to come is quite a legacy. And to build authority in their field. So, this is where you become known as the go-to expert for the problem that you solve for the people that you solve it for. To achieving location and time freedom. So this is to be able to work where you want, when you want, in what capacity you want, etc., and to be able to be available to your family and friends. One real reason for me that I started creating evergreen online courses is because my father got diagnosed with cancer a couple of years ago. He's now since passed, and unfortunately my stepmother got cancer. So we've been very much in the realm or world of chemo and radiation and everything that goes along with that, and supporting our parents as a family. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I had a evergreen courses set up. So my students were, being able to be served through the content 24/7, at the, they could from their phone have me in their back pocket at all time to be able to do that, and have systems set up in place to be able to attract, nurture, and convert my audience through funnels and ads and social media marketing, etc. So having these goals, understanding what your why is, also, kind of thinking about your business model and thinking about like, what you want this to look like when you go on vacation, and, really building a business around your life and not the other way around. And these goals, they're really going to be able to align with your core values and activate these neural pathways that those are motivated by external validation, creating this strong commitment and resilience when facing obstacles. So, I always say like everything with the neural pathway, it's kind of like carving your own path out. Like I walk my dog every day. And so we walk on the trails a lot, and you can kind of see like where all of the bush is versus the path. So this is, creating your goals and setting, what your plan is and your strategy. You're carving out your own path that your brain will eventually be able to run on autopilot, because it's done it so many times that these become effective and ingrained habits for you. And then also the dopamine effect, where we get these good feeling chemicals in our brain. Our brain releases these when we achieve goals that we anticipated for achievement. And this creates this neurochemical reward system that helps like strategically to be able to motivate us and leverage us to be able to keep going and keep doing it, because it's like, yes, we did it. And it signals our brain that like, oh yeah, she must like that, or he must like that. Let's do it again. Like, this is safe. We like this. So setting milestone-based goals, breaking larger objectives down in smaller achievements provides this dopamine hit and helps you to be able to sustain motivation. That, once you have your North Star decision and what your goals are, what you're launching, how many spots you need to sell, how many leads to generate, and what your marketing tactics are going to be able to be doing that, then every day what to be working on, all the way from the big objective all the way down to, really defining how many pieces of marketing content you want to be creating, every day, every week, every month, and so forth. So, for instance, if you're going to use email marketing and you're going to send out a nurture email every single day, that you want 5 or you want 7 emails every single week. So those get to be where you can then create very targeted KPIs and SMART goals to determine, how many pieces of email pieces of content that you need to create, and then going from there and really understanding how to optimize that content to improve open, deliverable rates and deliverability rates and email open rates and click-through rates and so forth. So also creating visual progress trackers. So physically seeing your advancement activates reward centers even before, final completion. So for me, like I always have a notebook by me, and, even though my goals are on the computer as well, there's something for me that writing it down, getting it out of my head, having it with me all the time, and being able to check it off, it's a dopamine hit, right? It's a it's really rewarding and satisfying to me to be able to know that I'm checking those goals off, and that getting it out of my head kind of frees up brain space too, that I know it's on the paper. I don't have to hold it there. So that is important for you to really understanding how you work best, how you like to track it, as well as having, like, if you're using, and this is something AI can help you with as well, is once you've kind of created your step-by-step, plan, and we have this in the academy for you too, is exactly what you need to work on. You can also put that into your favorite AI tool and ask it to make you either like a Google Sheet tracker or an Asana board for your project management system, and that it'll automatically create a CSV file for you, and then you can upload it into Asana. And if that's not something you're sure or need some help with it, I can help you with that too. But it can upload it for you and create a project tracker board for you, and like immediately saves you tons of time. And then celebrating those incremental wins is really, really important. So, it's celebrating the journey, not the destination, right? And this is where you really want to, and we have a pin inside the hub, a post inside the hub of celebrating every week. Not only backup, we have a post in the hub every single week to post what your goals are. And I know, Tony, you've already posted yours, so post what your goals are for the week, what those big 3 milestones are that you want to be able to achieve. And then at the end of that week, and then posting what you did, and then you're eligible to win certain rewards as well for that, and have the public acknowledgement, all of that, for being able to do that. But also there's another post of celebrating your wins, and whether that is that you watched a particular module inside one of the online courses, or you reached out to 5 leads, and you scheduled 2 phone calls to be able to get on market research calls, or whatever that is. Maybe it is that you made a commitment to yourself to exercise 3 times this week, and you followed through on that commitment to yourself. All of those are wins to be able to celebrate, because it cast a vote for you, and you kind of looking at your brain, it cast a vote for you to know that you're stepping into the ultimate version of yourself that you want to be. So whether you want to be like a multiple 6-figure or multiple 7-figure online membership business owner and course creator, that cast a vote that you're moving in the direction of your desires, especially when you have, set an intention to be able to achieve particular goals. You've mapped it out to determine what those projects are that support the goals, what the action steps are that support those projects, and that you completed it. And then also that you debrief. You want to make sure that you're understanding what works, what doesn't work, and where you can improve along the way. Because what we don't measure and what we don't optimize, we can't grow from. So that's probably one of the things that I procrastinate on the most, is that going back and really measuring and looking into that. So it's definitely a habit. Not personalizing it about you. It is simply data. So that's how I invite you to look at that analysis as you're going through, understanding again, what's working, what's not working, and how to continue to improve along the way. It's simply data. We're scientists, we're doing these experiments, and we're seeing what works, what our audience is resonating to or not, and then continuing to test and tweak and rinse and repeat along the way. So not personalizing that data. All right. So we are about at the 4 o'clock hour here. So I'm just going to finish up with this particular slide here. And then any other questions, I'll bring this to the hub. So any other questions you have, you can feel free to leave here under this YouTube video. If you're watching the replay on this, feel free to leave your questions there. I will also drop a link below so you can join the hub, the Ultimate Course Creators Hub, and bring your questions there, and to be able to get in-depth, training and tools and resources, and incredible community to be able to help be your besties along the way and help support you. It's not only that, but you get peer-to-peer guidance and support. It's a think tank of incredibly talented members inside of there that will be able to help you every step of the way. And, cheer each other on and just not have to be alone through this journey. So it's a great place to be. So the next piece here we'll go through is really assessing your current situation and giving an honest self-evaluation. So before setting your goals, you need to have a clear-eyed assessment of where you currently stand. Kind of what I mentioned a bit about this before is kind of looking at not only from your business goals and desires and how much income you want to generate for your business, but also looking at your personal side and looking at where you're at and really having that honest conversation with yourself, because this is going to give yourself the foundation for being able to set realistic goals that you can continue to grow with over time. Again, as your audience grows, as your social proof grows, you're going to be able to set higher and higher revenue targets each and every month, each and every quarter as you move forward in your business. And it's going to help prevent the cycle of repeated disappointment. So key areas here that you want to self-assess is your time availability. So really looking at your time, how many dedicated hours can you realistically commit to? And for your course creation, your marketing, and your student support. So, kind of the overall buckets that we're really looking at as online course creators is you want time for generating traffic. So what your visibility marketing efforts are. So your visibility tactics, your content. So this is everything from your social media marketing. If you're doing funnels, creating funnels, ads, email marketing, social media marketing, YouTube marketing, that's all of your content. If you're hosting a community, it would include that as well. So all of your content in there. Then you're working with so it's traffic, content, conversation. So this is where you're really spending time in with your market. So if you have a community, you're spending time engaging with your members. You're also spending time being able to have conversations if you're present in other communities as well. This is where you're having conversations. This is where you're leaving engaging comments on other people's posts. It's where you're creating valuable posts to be able to further, demonstrate your expertise, who you are as a person, what your values are, your skills are, and so forth, as well as if you are engaging at all in the DMs, phone calls, things like that. So those are your periods of conversations. And then as well, if you're looking at your sales activity and your marketing and sales activity. So time in the sales. So you definitely want to have a sales system set up in your business to be able to walk those leads through the nurture to convert strategy and being able to follow up with your leads. And then you have delivery and fulfillment. So this is where once you've converted your clients, then you are spending time with your clients delivering. So this is where you're, recording your lessons, you're creating your tangible deliverables for your students, and if you're doing live Q&A sessions and so forth with them. This is where you're helping your students to be able to get the transformation that your offer promises. So definitely being realistic about what that time availability is and really putting some strong boundaries around that time is super important to make sure that time is protected from the time that you're a maker. If you're a maker in the morning and you're a manager in the afternoon, knowing yourself, knowing how you work best is really key here. Doing your audience research. We don't need to go into this too much. We've kind of talked about it a lot, but again, what is your current audience size? What's the level of engagement of your audience? So this is really by knowing what that level of engagement is, it's going to help you understand when the best time is to be able to launch your online course, program, membership business. Do you have an email list, a social media following, any kind of professional network? This can be in-person professional network as well that you can leverage. Starting from zero obviously requires different goals than building out on an established platform. Then also doing your skill inventory, and you can also look in the Ultimate Course Creator course creation planner I have inside the classroom. You can grab a copy of that. This has some pages in here where you can already map out what those creation skills are. So knowing where your strengths are, knowing where your weaknesses and your opportunities and threats are really important. So knowing where are you really strong in content development? in video production, but maybe you're, needing to do some more brushing up on your sales skills and, being able to sell through the DMs or sell on sales calls and so forth. So understanding where your strengths and weaknesses are and what additional training and resources you need. So what do you need to develop? What do you need to outsource? As I've mentioned, I have different things in my business that I outsource that aren't the best use of my time, for example, so kind of looking at those things. Is there anything you can outsource from a business perspective as well as on a personal perspective? So maybe that looks like, if you are a homeowner and you have a lawn that you have to take care of, maybe you're outsourcing having somebody to do your lawn mowing and trimming and edging, to maybe have somebody that's helping you with cleaning, or maybe, for instance, like grocery shopping, things like that. Like I order all my groceries online. So I, order from Instacart or from Walmart or whoever that looks like. So it saves hours and hours of time from actually, travel time to the store and the grocery shopping and the, bringing it home. That is all time that you can leverage by outsourcing some of those things that aren't the best use of your time. So do that skill inventory audit, do that time audit, and understanding your financial resources. So what budget can you allocate for tools and platforms in your business? And you can start off super lean and super scrappy and continue to expand over time and add more tools and resources on in your business as you continue to scale. So looking at that, also maybe looking at some of the subscriptions, things like that in your personal life that maybe you can cut if you want to allocate. For instance, if you wanted to launch your community on Skool and you're looking at, that's $97 a month, Shannon, how am I going to pay for that? Looking at, are there other things, maybe I'm eating out a couple of times a month. Maybe I can sacrifice a dinner out once a month for, offsetting that expense. Or maybe, I have multiple subscriptions, maybe a gym membership that I'm not using, or multiple like Netflix and, Max and whatever it is, like Disney, maybe you have multiple subscriptions that you're paying for and you're not really using them. You shouldn't. I like my movies, but it's very limited. That's the reward. When we're talking about rewards, that's the reward that comes at the end of the day if I got everything else done. So look at that. There are a lot of ways that you can be able to learn or to figure out how you can gather the financial resources to be able to invest in your business. This is an investment, and it's an investment for the long term. Any questions you have about that? That would be even a great post too, if you want to put that in the community and ask how other people are doing it. That's a great way, as well as we dive more into the academy on how to cross finance your advertising expenses by creating like low ticket products, self-liquidating offers, things like that, to be able to generate revenue, to be able to, sell low ticket items and then put that revenue back into your ad expense to offset your ad expense. So some self-assessment questions here are kind of looking at what are your biggest challenges in previous projects or goals. So this is again where we're kind of identifying our weaknesses. What aspects of the course creation energizes you and what do you tend to avoid? This one is a big one here. Like, I love teaching. I absolutely love teaching, but as I already mentioned, like, I don't necessarily love, debriefing. So kind of understanding about that, about yourself and, what you like, what you don't like, and then knowing how to prioritize your energy is important. So like, maybe you need to eat your elephant first, it's like kind of, or eat the frog first. It's like, tackling the project that you avoid most first, so you can free up bandwidth and kind of space in your brain to be able to work on what you do. Like, it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like working out. I mean, I like to get my workout done first. So it's done. I get that dopamine hit, feel really good. And then, it's done for the day. I don't have to, think about it anymore. And then how do you typically respond to setbacks or missed deadlines? And, you can really use AI as your coach here as well as, bringing your concerns about this to me or to the community to be able to get feedback, but really understanding, like, rather than like personalizing it and, beating yourself up, really looking at it and trying to understand, what the core root issue is here. Or like, what's really going on, or the things that we can identify, or use an AI coach to help us identify what's really going on below the surface, and then how to manage those emotions, and then how to, implement some new tactics and really new behaviors to be able to overcome that, so we can start reaching those deadlines, or maybe we weren't realistic in our time availability to begin with, so we can better look at that and make a plan for the next time. And then knowing, again, what your true motivation is for creating this course. This is really going to help you as you're working through all of this, project, and remind you why this was important to you, what your ultimate desire is, and the life that you're building for yourself and for your family, and the impact that you want to make, really helping you to stay motivated throughout the journey. And then looking at that competing priorities that might impact your course creation schedule. So, are you working a 9-to-5 job, or a part-time job, or family commitments, et cetera? Like I mentioned with my dad and my stepmom going through chemotherapy and radiation, that meant for a time period, like every Monday was designated to taking them to their appointments and so forth. So I knew I, needed to work around that as well. As I'm a pet owner, so we have pets that, need care and things like that. So kind of looking at all of those things for yourself. And the self-evaluation is going to help you to reveal some uncomfortable truths, but acknowledging these limitations isn't negative. It's empowering. It's data, right? It's like seeing what we're really working with, and understanding your start point is going to allow you to design a goal framework that accounts for your specific circumstances. And it's going to dramatically be able to increase your chances of success, and really helping you focus on the true revenue generating activities and the true actions and your inputs that equal the outputs that you desire. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to bring those to the hub or drop them below in this video. I thank you so much. Tony, do you have any other questions before we sign off? And we will continue this training going forward, but this should give you a good start to be able to start really mapping out Q3 and what your goals are for Q3. You've got a good base of, being able to launch your online course. And what did you say? Your goal is to launch your 12-week course for your new ICP by the end of Q3. Your goal is to have your own membership set up and launched. So even taking that more specific, like, really digging in and understanding, like, from a time availability, like how much time, do we want to set aside for being able to create this course? How many students do we want to enroll? What is our price point? So what's our revenue goal? How many spots do we want to sell? And then looking at what our marketing tactics are going to be able to achieve that goal of enrolling new students. So, and the amount of students that you want to offer or be able to enroll into your program. So great stuff here. And I'm so excited to see what you all create. And I hope that you found this training helpful. And any other questions you have, let me know. And we will see you in the next training. See you. Bye for now.